Hello everyone, the Kentucky Patriot here. So glad to be back with you. I appreciate all your concern. I know several of you has asked where have I been, asked if I was still making videos. The answer is yes. We've had a wonderful summer. I may put some of the pictures of my family, some of the fishing trips. We try to cram everything we can in the summer. My kids are in a lot of extracurricular activities, and we try to get all we can out of life. And I didn't mean to neglect you. I'm sorry. But several of you mentioned this video in one form or another, ask about my EDC when it comes to knives, ask what I carry, what I like, just several questions, and one even had a spin to it. They asked, I'm going to get into this just a little bit, but they asked about this gun that I have mentioned that I had used for backup several times, but I want to make this real clear real quick. When I was talking about EDC, I meant firearms only. When I was talking about the importance of consistent carry in the video that I made, I meant firearms only, okay? So when we talk about some EDC and some knives, this is what Paul Harrell would say, in addition to, not in place of your firearm, okay? But somebody was talking about when I was mentioned this little North American Arms as my backup gun, and they saw how inaccurately I shot that. And I do want to say this, when me and Hootie Hoo was out at the range and I was shooting at that, it almost, after watching it, looked like I missed on purpose like that to be funny, because after that I went and kicked it and we had a good laugh. But the truth of the matter was, I was not being funny with this gun. That was not part of the act. That was not part of the show. I was really shooting the best I could. And I went back, and if you watch that video, you can see how I hit way low and way high. I wasn't even close with this gun, and that wasn't unusual. It wasn't that I had a bad day at the range. If you notice in other videos, I've always said I'm not accurate with this gun at all. And he asked, would you be better off with a blade of some type? And I told him I would certainly make a video and talk about this. Would you be better off with a blade as a gun like this that is only short distance that you're inaccurate with? And I think he actually makes a very good point. And the more I got to thinking about it, because I would only carry this, like I said, at the beach or something, but he was absolutely right. If you're inaccurate with a gun, and that's what all I was going to use it for, was a belly gun, just to stick it, in somebody's sternum and pull the trigger, but still trying to would you be better with a bladed weapon? And no one can make that decision for you. That will be up to you. But as a backup weapon, would you be better off with a knife? And I think a lot of that then depends on the knife, okay? And when I talk about everyday carry, I do want to be absolutely honest with you. I don't want to portray to be something that I'm not. This is kind of out of my lane. This is my hobby. I enjoy this. But now when you get into knives and combat and fighting with a hand-to-hand with a knife or a bladed weapon, you're going to have to decide that for yourself. Your age, your 80-year-old grandma, it may not be as good an option as somebody else. So all these things you have to take in mind. And Lord willing, I've got a really good friend that I'm going to hope to have on this channel to have him talk about some of this, because he's an absolute expert in this area. I'm not, like I said. Sorry, I got something in my eye here. It's allergy season, so I do apologize. But I know it's kind of a firearms channel, you might say, but really this is always meant just to have friendly conversation, to share our experience and knowledge, and it was always about protecting people. So even though I might be considered a gun channel, really it was always about knowledge, learning, ballistics, having fun, and maybe passing on some knowledge and concealed carry and some tips and tricks for home defense or concealed carry to help you. So having said that and got all that out of the way, and again, I do want to be upfront and honest with you, I do not carry every day. Knife I'm talking about. I've told you my gun is a part of my belt, is part of my keys, is part of my wallet, is a part of my everyday wardrobe. Do I carry a knife a lot? Yes, I do. But to honestly tell you that I carry no matter what, it is not the case, okay? And then when you're talking about everyday carry, are you talking about one of those old-timer knives that your grandpa carried that was basically a tool that may be used to whittle something, may be used to cut thread or tape, or are you talking about an everyday carry, like I said, as one of those old timers or case pocket knives that like my dad collects them? I've got him some over the years. So are you talking about an everyday carry that you just want as a pocket knife, or do you want something maybe a little more like more of a self-defense knife? Now, my everyday carry is something like this, something that you could possibly use as a weapon, but really what I would personally do is use it more as a seatbelt cutter, to get out of a situation. Use it. I don't really work with it or whittle with it or use it for a tool. I use it only in like a survival type, seatbelt type. Could you use a weapon like this for self-defense? Absolutely. But if I'm using this, I'm completely out of ammo. My backup gun, my magazine, everything is completely empty before I would ever reach for something like this. And there's difference of opinions. Here's a little 511 tactical knife. It's basically the same thing. Little belt loop there, fits on your belt. A nice little knife. There's all kinds of different knives you can have. I mean, this is very, very sturdy. It's very strong. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It locks out, and it's very sturdy. But I'll be honest with you. Here's another one that I've got. I think this one was in my tack pack. The spring on it's not the best in the world, but it's also a very strong, very sturdy knife. Right there for your pocket. Go in your belt loop. Knives like these are great. There's nothing wrong with them. But in my opinion, if you are going to use this as a weapon, as a mean of defense, instead of a backup weapon like I told you about, like the 22 North American Arms Magnum, I would prefer, me personally, one in a sheath, a fixed blade. Now, you do have to check your local and state laws. I don't know where you're at. Some of you have the length of a blade. Some of them you have, concealed carry issues. Now, in Kentucky, they recently passed open carry, or we've always had that, but now you don't have to have a permit to carry. You can still carry without a permit. But when they did have the permit here in Kentucky, it wasn't just a firearms permit. It was a knife, even things like Death Stars, brass knuckles. There was all kinds of things that fell into that category. So it wasn't just firearms, it was also knives. But anyway, check your local and state laws. But me personally, if you're going to defend yourself with a knife, you want a fixed blade, a good strong fixed blade. This is one of the SOGs we got. I think it was in our tack pack, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a very good. It's got a sheath. You can put it in your belt loop there, anyhow you want to do it. But those are pretty handy. And then also a fixed blade. And this is more of a survival Rambo type knife. But if you're camping, this can also be used as a tool, and this could certainly defend yourself. Now this is more of a hunting knife. This I think was actually my dad's. I got it now. Maybe it was mine. I think at one time it was dad's. I'm not sure. Now this is more of a hunting knife. But now, could you carry this and use it for a hunting knife? Sure, and self-defense, you better believe it. This thing is razor sharp. You can skin buck. You can also skin the bad guys too, if you know what I mean. So, but there's just so many knives to really look at, and I have one here. Now, this isn't the one I have under the seat in our vehicles, but one's under your seat in your vehicles. If you don't even carry it on your person, I think it's also a great idea. One like this. Now, this is for real. This is serious. This isn't a toy. I know it looks like something you're going to go in the brush with, but to have something like this under your seat that's razor sharp, that again, you could cut a seat belt. You could. This is a big enough that, and it's not about ego. Nobody knows. Nobody, until I told you on this channel, none of my friends or family knows we ever carry a knife under our vehicle. Like I said, nobody knows I carry concealed carry. I keep it concealed. Nobody knows. So it's not about ego. But if a bad guy's approaching you and you pull out something like this, and his arm's in your car, he's gonna. I think you can certainly make somebody back up with something like this. Very strong steel. Very. This is very sharp. It's even got a sharpener with it in a sheath. So you can put it under your seat like this, slide right underneath where you're driving, no problems. And then if you need it, just simply slip into there and get it, and there you go. Now, something like this is too big to carry, obviously, on your person, unless it does have a belt loop around back here, right here, that you can, if you're going to hike them way out somewhere, but that certainly wouldn't be my choice to carry. And even something like this, as cool as Excalibur is, and yes, this is a real sword, as cool as Excalibur is, you're not going to be able to carry this anywhere. You're not going to be able to, it's not going to be something you can put under your car or trunk, or even something like this, travel battle axe, even though this is not going to be an everyday carry. I'll tell you what, just to have this somewhere where you could get a hold of it in your camper, you can actually certainly use this. like I said, we're not trying to be violent or vile or anything like that, but when it comes to your life and your family's life, if you cannot get to a firearm, then you certainly need to have other options available. Even a small fighting sword, again, this may be a little bit too small to have under your seat of your car, but an actual fighting knife like this has got it's actually, this does not have a handle per se. This is all one piece of metal, and this is extremely, extremely light. You can wield this like you would not believe. And very fast, very lightweight. This is actually my son's sword, and we do watch him. This is actually my daughter's sword and my daughter's battle axe. They buy it with their own money. They save up. They're warriors. They absolutely train. They love weapons, and they're safe with them. So we don't just turn our 6-year-old son loose without training. He loves it. He trains. But to have something like this, to be able to defend yourself, it could really be the difference in life and death. And I know when people talk about EDC and they talk about guns, anytime you mention a bladed weapon, they automatically say gun. You ought to have a gun, you ought to have a gun, you ought to have a gun, you ought to have a gun. I agree. But here's the thing. There is times and places where you can't have a gun, where you maybe can have a knife. Or I'm actually going to have the other gentleman that I talked about bringing on the show or channel, whatever you want to call it, talk about this. But there's a lady that we know that's in college. And if you're in college and you live on a college campus, a gun is not available to you. But if you're walking back and forth to class, depends on the college, depends on all that you obey the laws. But a lot of times you can't carry a gun, but you can carry a hunting knife. You can carry something like this, so if you have to walk back and forth to school, or if you have to walk, or if you're underage, in a lot of places you can't conceal carry a gun under 21. So being able still to protect yourself. And then here's even like little throwing knives. Now these that come with this, these are throwing knives, and I'm not saying you couldn't hurt somebody with these. I'm not saying these aren't legit, but in real life they're kind of like a Death Star. To actually be able to throw and get this on target, it's probably not your best option. I would actually use some more, but anyway. There's so many options. I think a lot of people's question was, what do I do EDC? And I'll be honest with you, my personal EDC will be something like this. When I do carry, it's just going to be a quick slasher, being able to escape out of a car seat. I do not carry every day, like I said, and I do not use it personally for a weapon. Could I, would I? Sure. But in general, like I said, my gun is still my go-to. My gun is still my primary weapon. However, we do have, like I said, underneath our seat, we do have pretty good size blades under our seat in the car, both in my wife and my vehicle. So it's just, there's just so much on here. I try to hurry because I told her I don't want to make too long of a video and wear you out with all this. But I'll be honest with you, the more I get to thinking about that, I think he may be correct. I think I may be better off, instead of this little 22 Magnum North American Arms, to put in somebody's sternum and pull the trigger and try to cock the hammer and try to get my hand. And I'll tell you another downfall of this gun. Even if you have a holster, it's trying to get to it quick. Where these knives, they're on your belt. You pull them out, son, you've got them right here. Where this, on the other hand, it's not like it is with your holster on the side of your belt, your duty belt or your EDC belt, or even inside the waistband. This is hard to get in your pocket. Even if you're trying to carry a pocket carrier, even if you try to, even like I said, a pocket holster or whatever, this gun is very hard to get to. It's very hard to grip. The sights are tiny. My hand does not fit on this very well at all. Is this better than nothing? Absolutely. Please pardon any dog noise you hear in the background. My dog, he's a radar. He hears everything that moves out there. So anything that moves, he's going to get them. So, but anyway, like I said, this gun is very hard to shoot. There's no recoil. It's not painful to shoot. But with the sight picture, being able to draw, it can definitely cause some problems. But it's just such a big topic. Like I said, are we talking about a tool? Are we talking about just a case knife? Are we talking about a hunting knife? Are we talking about a multi-purpose knife? Hunting knife slash, this is a fixed blade defense knife. One you carry flips out on your pocket. Fixed blade, these are very good with sheaths. This is, like I said, would be more of what I would use for defense. And you can get them in your boot. A lot of people slide them down in their boot. And a knife, can be a very good tool for you. It can be a very good defense weapon, but you got to be careful. Those guys that have knives, to be honest with you, it's not like in the movies. They bring it up here or they have it way out here. They usually have it way in here, and knives can be very dangerous, so you certainly want to take caution. But to make a long story short, my EDC carry would be more along the lines of something like this when I do carry. And like I said, I do not carry every day. I do carry a lot, but my typical, like I said, I'm not saying I don't ever carry any of these other ones, but my typical carry is something like this, one of these blades that just flip out. But you got to be the judges. You have to decide for yourself where you're going to be, what activities you're going to be doing, and some activities may not be conducive to more of the fixed blades. But this is a pretty fun video, and I appreciate the question. Again, I'm so sorry it took me so long to get to it, but it was a very good question. I think a lot of people do carry knives, and you know, let me know what your opinions are. What do you carry every day? What knives do you like, and why do you carry them? Do you use them as a tool? Do you use them as a defense? Do you use them as a backup to your gun? You know, just leave your comments below. Like I said, you don't never know. You may be a tough guy. You may have a sheath for this, and you may carry Excalibur down the street. I don't know. I could see where you could deter a few bad guys with that. But in general, most of the time, I don't know why it is, but guns and knives go hand in hand. That's why I see a gun and knife show. And most guys that are gun guys, they're knife guys. They like knives. So you let me know. What do you think? What's your carry? What do you enjoy? Did I leave something out? Did I need to include something? Did I do I carry what you carry? But just let me know. And like I said, Lord willing, I'm going to have that gentleman on here, and he's going to talk to you more about knife defense and knife and his experiences and what he does and what he likes. So hopefully we'll have him on. And I'm getting back up to the range hopefully real soon, and I've got some more videos up in mind that I think you'll enjoy. But anything you want to see, you want me to talk about, this was a request of several viewers, and that's why I wanted to, I'm sorry if it took me so long to get to it, but that's why I wanted to do this, because several of you requested this video. But if there's something more you want me to go into or something else you like, I do this for you guys. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the visit. I enjoy the company. So if there's something you want me to do, shoot, talk about, likes, dislikes, knives, guns, self-defense, personal defense, whatever it is, you feel free to leave it in the comments below. Please always keep it family friendly, and let me know what you think about the knives. Let me know what you think about any videos you'd like to see coming up. I've got an Instagram account now, The Kentucky Patriot. Please check us out on Facebook as well, The Kentucky Patriot. We appreciate you, and I know this video's been a little bit long, but thank you for your patience and kindness. And again, thank you for your patience and kindness and the delay of getting this video out. I do apologize. I hadn't forgot about you guys. Appreciate you from the bottom of our heart. May God bless you, The Kentucky Patriot. Signing off.